Money, 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 money. I'm rolling in the money, 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 money. I get that fast money in a. I get that fast money in a. Money, 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 money. I'm rolling in the money, money, money.
Hello and welcome to week 13 of Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets. I am your host, Nick Fiorentino. We got the Giants in first place. Adam Gase is a liar. Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz continue to depress me. And Sir's 49ers fucked me out of $350. How you guys doing today? Tim, we'll start with you. What's going on, buddy?
I've been better, recovering from a little sickness over the holiday weekend, but we're back at 75%. No ripping fireball today, but we're gonna try to win you guys some more money.
And more importantly, no Rona. So that's always a good thing. Sir, how we doing, bud?
Man, I'm doing good, man. My boys are starting to get back on track. Some starters are coming back in the action. It was a good week. And your boy went 4-0 in prime time. What's going on?
Yeah, I know. I have this. I specifically asked you not to wear 49ers stuff this week.
You already know what it is, baby. Come on.
The initials, 49ers. No, I had the 49ers in a teaser parlay along with 6 other games. Most of the teams just had to win outright. I had a couple over-unders. And last game, I just needed the Rams to beat the Niners. And I listened to Moravik, who said the best team in the NFC was the Rams. And I was like, they could beat the 49ers. And if I had Fireball with me, I'd do a shot for Moravik, but I don't. Guys, as always, this is Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets. And you can find us on our Twitter and Instagram handles on SBFS Show. We're part of the True Exact Radio family, and you can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Twitter, and you can find them on Instagram under the same TRU Exact EXACT Radio. Our show drops on Wednesdays, probably right as Pittsburgh and Baltimore is coming to an end. So we won't be talking about that today. And you'll find us on YouTube. You'll find us on iTunes on Thursday. So a couple big shows coming down the line, coming this Friday. Upcoming musician Rose the Mermaid is going to be on the True Exact Show. Rose is a talented new artist from Kansas City under the FBA label. Sir, you're supposed to sing Under the Sea while I'm doing this, Rose.
Nah, I ain't gonna disrespect nobody.
Hear her backstory on how she learned the piano by matching up guitar strings to the keys and a lot more. And on Saturday on Instagram Live, Scott, the man when it comes to True Exact Radio, will be doing his top 15 Christmas song countdown at 8 p.m. The media has you all brainwashed with the same 5 cheese dick songs. This is the true, well-thought-out list. If you're here for Mariah Carey and the same light FM nonsense, stick your dick in a blender and go to bed because this isn't it. And that will be the last time I read a message from Scott without reading it first. So, and on Mark's side of the ring, Miguel, myself, and Fred will be breaking down The Undertaker's retirement. I'll be talking about how tedious and weird it was, and they will be defending it, I'm sure. So that's what we got in store on True Exact, but you are here to listen to some football stories and to get some picks. So without further ado, we'll touch up a little bit on the week that was Week 12 in the NFL. And I felt really good about my own fantasy teams. The season ends today. I make the playoffs in 4 out of 6 leagues. One league I'm in dead fucking last. Shout out to the Competing Males League that I am in last place. And it's probably the first time I've ever been dead last in a fantasy league. But most of my picks, most of my top players, I started with Saquon Barkley. And it just went down from there. So,
Not a good start.
My best team, my big money team, a league that I'm in with Tim and a few other people. I have Alvin Kamara, who's been great all year, but with Taysom Hill, he hasn't been good at all. I also have the connection of Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller, and obviously that connection was wonderful on Thanksgiving Day. It was a wonderful Thanksgiving in the Fiorentino household. But news came out yesterday that Will Fuller is suspended 6 games for violating the PED violation, so he will not be in it. And now I don't know how Deshaun Watson's going to play. I know the first round of the playoffs, fantasy playoffs, he faces Chicago. We saw what Aaron Rodgers did but Aaron Rodgers had at least Devontae Adams. I don't know. Kiki Kute and Brandon
Cooks, man.
We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping.
If he's healthy at that point.
I don't feel good about it. And the other thing I don't feel good about is the Philadelphia Eagles. And we'll start with what we just saw, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. And it is getting harder and harder and harder to watch these guys play. Sir, you texted us this morning a quote from Schwartz. What did Jim Schwartz say about DK Metcalf?
Man, why you go poke the bear? The Schwartz came up to DK and said, he was like, I was in Detroit. I had Megatron. You are not Megatron. Why do you say that to somebody before a game? Like, he just kicked you behind, like in the last season, and like now you're gonna poke the bear? Wasn't bright.
Didn't just kick their behind. He absolutely torched and abused them. And don't think for 1 second that he forgot or isn't reminded all the time that the Eagles took J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over him in the draft. I mean, the Eagles aren't the only team that took wide receivers over DK Metcalf, but the wide receiver that they just so happened to take, well, on the first drive, DK Metcalf caught 3 passes, which is more than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's had basically all season. Certainly, the total amount of catches that DK Metcalf had yesterday was more than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has had all season. That's a fact. So.
To Schwartz's point, though, I mean, granted, I don't know if he's quite Megatron status, but don't that's not. He meant it as a compliment, like, oh, you're not there yet, but apparently it pissed him off. So.
Yeah, I don't know how you could take that as a compliment.
He's like, oh, well, I mean, Calvin's he's not bad. I don't know if you know this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I get it.
It wasn't a good choice of words for him to say to him. Wait till after the game. Wait for after the game. Be like, yo, you're not there yet. You're getting there, but. Before the game, just fuel to the fire.
You could see that they tried to play him very physical, like early on. They were really physical, really chippy with each other early on in the game. But, you know, the penalties seemed to be one-sided, and I'm not complaining. Like the Eagles, you know, deserved the penalties that they got. They just aren't well coached or well disciplined, I should say. But with Doug Peterson, I mean, and then at the end of the game, or towards the end of the game, 7 minutes left in the game, and it's 20-9, and you go for it on 4th down, and Wentz throws that brutal interception. I mean, take the 3 points, make it a one-possession game, 20-12. You know, if they kick the field goal with where they're at in the game and how the defense has been playing, they were in pretty good shape. And then, you know, they throw that Hail Mary. You never know what could happen, but Doug Peterson just either overthinks things. I know I mentioned before he plays like I fucking play Madden, like right before I shut the game off if I'm losing or whatever the case may be. But he plays it like it's Madden. And, you know, the only person, I will say, at least he goes to the podium and he does his best to speak honesty and speak truth. He just makes terrible decisions. Adam Gase, on the other hand, and Tim, this is where you could chime in, just blatantly lied about the play calling. He said he was giving up play calling to his offensive coordinator. And then, you know, obviously somebody called him out in the media during the end of the game in the post-game press conference, and just basically saying that they were watching the offensive coordinator the whole time. He didn't say a word, and then Adam Gase just looked like an asshole. Tim, is it time?
Is it time to get rid of him? What are we waiting? I mean, I don't see a game that they can win for the rest of the season with how they're playing and with who they have. I don't know how anyone who's not left in a Survivor League isn't taking Las Vegas this week or I think Seattle next week. Like, I mean, if you still have those teams left, those are two.
Listen, they could win next week against the Raiders.
I'm praying.
The Raiders last week?
The Raiders
flew to the East Coast and laid an absolute egg to the Falcons. Like, bruh, come on now.
But the Falcons are a decent team. What's their record since they changed coaches? Thank you.
They're playing good ball.
How many wins did they have all season?
Bro, the Raiders.
Yeah, but they didn't have Julio Jones.
Times more than the Jets do.
They didn't have Julio Jones. They didn't have Todd Gurley, and they still absolutely destroyed Vegas. And like Vegas, if nothing else, should at least be a good offensive team. Like I don't care about giving up the points. that they did, but like fucking score points. It's Atlanta. I mean, Taysom Hill was running all over them, like absolutely torching them. And then you have, John Gruden, this offensive genius, and he can't put together points against Atlanta.
So, sir, you're taking the Jets plus the points this week?
Who knows? Maybe we'll see.
I'll say this. We're getting to a point now in the season where some of you guys that are tuning in and watching might be in survivor pools or might be in, getting towards the end. I know I'm in one survivor pool, and I'm happy because a few weeks ago when Miami played the Jets the first time, most of the people that are remaining in my survivor pool picked Miami against the Jets in what would have been Fitzpatrick's last game before being benched for Tua, only to come back in this week. But I have Miami, so I'm taking Miami this week against Cincinnati. That's a pick that I think they should win outright, 11.5-point favorites. So that's the game that I'm going. What are some of the other games based on survivor picks? You already mentioned Vegas. Vegas is a good pick too against the Jets, but I wouldn't feel great about that pick. What other picks are there that you guys like if you guys are left? Are you guys in any suicide pools or now?
I'm terrible survivor.
I didn't do any survivor pools this year, so I would just be.
And if I did one, I'd probably been knocked out week 1 of the season because I'm pretty sure I was let's go with the Colts against I think they played the Jaguars, and it didn't end well for me. But as you said, the Dolphins would be a good pick this week. I mean, I'm pretty sure they haven't been taken very often this season.
Well, assuming that you're picking teams that are heavily favored against their opponents, and we'll go in reverse order, but you have the Ravens home against the Cowboys. Lamar Jackson plays, and it's less than a week rest.
I mean, but I'm sure most people in Survivor have taken them already. Again,
you have the Bills on the road against the 49ers. I wouldn't feel good about picking the Bills.
I wouldn't touch that game at all.
I wouldn't either. You got Green Bay at home against the Eagles. Do I think the Eagles are going to win against Green Bay in Green Bay?
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Nick. I don't pick the Eagles. Go ahead.
No, I don't think so. Listen, they beat Green Bay last year at home. They were one of in Green Bay. They were one of Green Bay's only losses last year, obviously in the 13-3 year. You do have the Raiders, which is a good pick. The Vikings are home against the Jaguars. That's a pretty good pick. And then you have Miami at home against the Bengals. I watched that game because I had the Giants this past week in my suicide pool. And I thought towards the end of the game they were going to lose, especially when he broke it to 50. He broke that punt to the 50-yard line. I got pretty nervous. But they didn't manufacture almost any offense. And even if they had taken that ball to the end zone and scored on that, they needed 2 special teams touchdowns to win that game. They're just not a good offensive team. They're not going to score points, and Miami's defense is a lot better. So for me, my pick, if you have them available, I'm taking Miami in my suicide pool.
Hey, and you said with the Bengals, losing Joe Burrow hurt, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it opened the door. It opened the door for Justin Jefferson. I mean, who would you say now would be the offensive rookie of the year?
It's still Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, still riding with him.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson just keeps fucking scoring touchdowns.
Yeah. Herbert's a good pick. Herbert's a good pick, though.
Jefferson's been balling. You know what I mean? Like you saw what he did last week. I mean, granted, he didn't have Thielen out there who was on the COVID list, but I mean, it usually goes to a quarterback most of the time.
Who's your MVP?
Mahomes.
Yeah. Do you have anybody different, Tim, or you agree?
I guess I agree. I don't really know.
It'd be hard to pick anybody else.
I mean, granted, Kyler was up there in the race, but like he's taken a dip. Russell Wilson's was there earlier. He's taken a dip. I'm pretty sure it's
Russell Wilson hasn't been good over the last couple of weeks.
I'm talking about early in the season. He was like he was like the front runner to win MVP, and then the last couple weeks he's just been taking a nosedive.
That's hard. Yeah. He still doesn't have a running game, even though Chris Carson came back. Still doesn't look healthy. So he's still basically trying to do it all himself.
He's got DK. DK's been balling. Lockett's been boom or bust, but he's been playing pretty well. But dang, that defense has cost him some games.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anything in week 12 before we get into the primetime picks for week 13?
I want to say I can never trust the Raiders. I can't trust the Raiders anymore. They cost me. I thought
you talked me into them too. I'm so pissed at you. That's what I wanted to talk about.
I was like, the Raiders -3 at the Falcons. I'm like, the Raiders were playing good ball. They hung in there with the Chiefs, and then they go over to Atlanta and absolutely stink. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can never trust them again.
I took them in the pick 5 with the spread.
Yeah.
That we do, and I needed a fifth game, and I was like, it was 1 point, because they take the lines from further back. I'm like, go Oakland. Sir seems confident. And your 49ers screwed me. I don't want to look at you for the rest of this show.
Nick, what happened with Will Fuller?
Don't give the year, bro. You know what? As in the text message we saw. He was healthy for too long. They knew something was up. They had to know.
Let me ask you a question. He's an NFL caliber player. If he's hurt, who the fuck is he going to get this medicine that's not on that's on this fucking band? He tries to say the right thing by blaming it on. I went to the doctor and the doctor gave me something that what fucking doctor is this? How is it not the team doctor? I
was like, don't these teams have doctors? You can't go to somebody and be like, hey, give me some meds.
That's what makes me think that it's complete horseshit. It doesn't make any sense. They have all just like they did when they drink and drive. Everything right at your fingertips. You can get anyone to drive you around. You could get.
Right, they can afford an Uber or a Lyft or something. You know what I'm saying?
It's in their contracts that if you're an NFL athlete, I don't know if it's every sport, but I know it's in the NFL, that there's literally a car service that you could call. It doesn't cost you anything. And all you have to do is call this. They will pick you up anywhere, and they will drive you anywhere. So there's literally no excuse. But I agree with you, Tim. And here's why I think it's bullshit every single time, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So you're hurt, or you want a competitive edge, or you want something, and I'm like, hey, listen, try this. It's good for the NFL. You won't get in any trouble. Definitely try this. It's good. Why wouldn't your first reaction be to grab this item and go to whoever the right people are and say, hey, I want to take this for X, Y, and Z. Is this okay, and is this an approved substance?
Big facts. When there's millions of dollars on the line, if as you said, if a doctor hands you, take this, and you'll feel better in a week. I'm taking that. I'm going to my team. I'm going to the head offices. Can I take this without being screwed?
Yeah, exactly.
If they say yes, you take it. You get better. If they say no, you take it. You throw it in the trash. You keep it moving.
Exactly. And forget about the millions of dollars that he could potentially lose since he's a free agent on a walk year. What about the hundreds of dollars that I can lose having him on 3 fantasy teams being in the playoffs? Think about me.
Yeah, Nick, I'm pretty sure he's worried about you. He's like,
what about me?
I think my man Nick has me in a couple teams. You know what? I'll help him out. I'm not taking this.
I won't write to him because I probably would be blocked. But nevertheless, we will do the best.
Read him a sternly worded tweet.
I will write him a strongly worded letter. I don't know.
But he's been balling. I know I have him in a couple leagues too, and sucks losing him.
You look at a team a week ago, and then we'll get into week 13 because this is just our fantasy leagues and our fantasy teams. But you look at a team that I have in my biggest money league: Deshaun Watson, A.J. Brown, Will Fuller, Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara, Gibson, Dallas Goedert, all in my starting lineup. DJ Moore on the bench because I don't have room for him. And now you look at Kamara, can't score touchdowns with Taysom Hill. Deshaun Watson, who knows how he'll be without Will Fuller. No Will Fuller. What a difference a week can make in the NFL.
Absolutely. I mean, the beauty of fantasy.
Yep. We're washing our hands of week 13. Or week 12, and we're going into week 13, and we're starting out with Sunday night football because there is no Thursday night football thanks to Wednesday night football. tomorrow, which we will not be talking about because it'll be long over by the time we talk. That being said, I would take Pittsburgh with the points.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But anyway, we could be wrong or we could be right. Denver, though, Sunday night, getting 14 points against.
Hold on, sir.
I was hoping you were going to forget.
Nope.
Sir, I got you next week, buddy.
All right, brother. Hey, man, feel better, brother.
I think you should have to do 5 shots of Hennessy for the 5 shots of Fireball that I had to do.
Hey, I drank some. I had Henny White last week. It worked out for me. Back at it.
It's not even near my face, and it smells so bad. It's just not going to be good.
Yo, smells like winning. Salute, boys.
Salute.
Swish it around, Nick. I hear it helps with the taste.
Seltzer doesn't help with the taste.
Seltzer don't help with anything, bro. What you talking about?
All right. So Denver plus 14 against Kansas City. The over-under is 50.5. What do you got, Tim? We'll start with you. What do you got in this game?
I think we're all going to pick the exact same. I don't see any way that Denver comes close to matching KC, even with the 14 points. Last time they played, 43-16. Not much has changed, except KC's just getting better. And it's keep it short and simple and sweet. That's it. Give me KC minus 14. Give me I want to say the over 50.5, but I don't know how much Denver's actually going to score, but I'll take the over for right now.
I'm going Kansas City, and I'll take the over. I think Kansas City is going to score at least 35 points, so all I need is 15-ish, 16 from Denver. I think I can get that. They'll have an actual quarterback this week, so or what they like to.
I was like, listen, the quarterback play for Denver has to be better.
I was going to say, what they like to think is a quarterback, they're at least bringing out.
Listen, it's bad when they tried to get a coach to play quarterback last week, and the NFL says, nah, fam. All the quarterbacks got taken out, and they had the wide receiver who was they completed 1 pass, they threw 2 picks. It's got to be better. Obviously, I'm going KC minus 14. And honestly, the over sounds good, but I kind of want to lean toward the under. I think KC will drop about 35 on him, and then take the reins take the foot off the gas. So I'll lean toward the under, even though I don't really like it, but I'll lean toward it.
Okay.
So that's another thing with Tyreek Hill last week, fellas.
I don't think I've ever had Tyreek Hill on a fantasy team. Ever.
I did once. I wish I had him last week.
I avoided him in all my I didn't play against him in any league, which was a good thing because the brother went off.
Yeah,
I did not either.
I played him in one league, and that motherfucker might as well beat me by himself.
I mean, he had 200. He had 200 yards. He was really close to Lee Evans. And then I honestly think so. Lee Evans had the record for yards in a quarter at 205, which is just insane if you think about it to begin with. So he's got 203, and Tampa Bay punts the ball, and there's 5 seconds left in the quarter. And you think he's going to at least throw 1 pass to him for 3 yards just to get the record. But there was a penalty on Tampa Bay that they had to push the kick back, and they had to repunt. And by the time they repunted and caught the ball, it was the end of the quarter. So obviously Lee Evans is still the record holder at 205 for yards in a quarter. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't know if they just said yards in a quarter, but yards in the first quarter, that's got to be the most. I don't know if they mentioned it, but that's got to be the most.
All I know is that I was texting Sir because I knew he was out at the bar. I didn't know. I know he was watching his game, but I'm like, refresh. I'm like, Sir, you watching his game?
Yeah, he was going off, and he had a pretty impressive backflip for one of his touchdowns. It
was okay.
I was like, this dude has more. He's got more fucking yards and touchdowns than all of my receivers do on my team, and it's only the first quarter.
Like you would think that they would have guard after like the first 2 or 3, somebody might want to guard him.
Well, they just used single do you know the name of the cornerback that was covering him? I forget.
Can't recall it right now.
I can't remember it, but like bring the fucking safety over. Do something. Like how do you
they're out here playing man defense against probably one of the fastest dudes in the league. Like
Todd Bowles is a smart defensive guy. Why wouldn't you do something different? It's clearly not working. Don't play him single coverage.
Yeah. I mean, granted, you can't really double because they have other weapons with Kelsey and Hardman and Laird at the back. So you have to play straight up, but do something. Obviously, it's not whatever you're doing wasn't working.
How about Tony Romo at the end of the game saying, "Oh, I think it'll be a rematch of this game in the Super Bowl." Like what? And listen, I said that I thought it would be Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh just based on that narrative, but I said that fucking 4 or 5 weeks ago. Like, what now? I even said it last week, honestly, if you want to fact check it, but what now after that game makes you think Tampa Bay is the leader in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl?
As I mentioned, go ahead.
They played very well when KC decided not to play football anymore. So their Tampa's offense looked really good when KC went to prevent defense, and everyone's offense looks pretty good when they sit back and you can throw passes underneath and gain yards and gain confidence. But when they were playing real defense in the first half, it was two totally different teams on the field.
Like I said, I mentioned last week, the NFC to me is wide open. Every team in that division has at least has a hole. So could Tampa make it to the Super Bowl? It's possible. So it's possible that you could see this game but is it likely?
Put your bets in.
I'm looking forward to Kansas City against the Giants, and I hit all of my Super Bowl bets. I will be the biggest Giants fan ever if it's the Giants and Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
No. Just no. I couldn't deal with the fandom. Oh, no. Please, no.
I'd buy you a Trevor Lawrence jersey.
Might not even win the division, let alone make the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, sir. You know how Giants fans are.
I don't know. Absolutely.
They're not the best.
They're not.
They got 4 wins in their first place in the division, and all I hear is, "Oh, we're in first place." You have 4 wins. Take it easy.
Remember a week ago when they were like, "Well, everybody in the division sucks. We're just going to lose in the first. Whoever finishes first place is going to lose first round of the playoffs." Then 1 week later, we're in first place.
Gotta love it.
Fun times. Well, we got Buffalo laying 2.5 points against San Francisco. This is the Monday night game. We know who Sir's picking on an over-under of 48. Do we even need to ask you, Sir?
All right, listen. This game is actually closer than I would like it to be. Granted, yes, I'm happy that my boys are getting some people back. Moultrie came back. Debo Samuel came back. Richard Sherman came back and got a pick last week. You know what I'm saying? The boys are getting healthy at the right. They're not out of this race. They're still in the hunt. If they keep winning, they can sneak in. But Sanford has a problem with mobile quarterbacks. Russell Wilson gives them problems. Kyler Murray gives them problems. Josh Allen, pretty mobile, I would say. I'm still taking San Fran plus 2.5.
Of course you are.
I'm saying I gotta do it. This is a winnable game. Honestly, San Fran could win this game outright. So, I'll give you over 48 because I think points will be scored from both sides. But I think San Fran could win this game. You can call me a homer. You can call me a homer if you want. It's all right.
Mr. Simpson, we'll call you a homer.
It's okay. It's all right.
Of course we're going to call you a homer. You're picking.
All right, go ahead. We'll take Buffalo and go ahead. And when San Fran wins this game, y'all be doing Hennessy again next week. It's okay.
Not only am I picking Buffalo minus 2.5, I already have to do Hennessy next week anyway, so I might as well just get the double shot or triple shot at this point ready. Who knows? Sir, who is your quarterback?
Young Money. Nick Mullins, baby. What's up?
Thank you.
Yeah.
They should have blown out the Rams instead of just barely winning by a field goal. Mostert's back, but he doesn't look healthy. Their run game.
His first game back, bro. He's got to get his.
and this is going to be a second game back. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be back to 100% where you really need him because your other running backs are not the best. So
Jeff Wilson Jr. The brother balled out in the beginning. I mean, he didn't look very good last week, but
in order to beat Buffalo, you're going to need to run the ball and run the ball successfully. And I don't know that you're going to be able to do that. And if you have to force Mullins to throw the ball like he had to in the second half of the Rams game, you saw what happened. For the sake of me, I don't think he can do it. So I'll take Buffalo -2.5. I'll go over 48 too, sir. I like overs now all of a sudden.
That's Buffalo. That's their name. That name again is Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo too. And I'm taking the over as well.
Okay. I expected this. It's all right. Hey, when San Fran gets that dub, bring back the Henny. Route, let's go.
Little Simpsons joke in there too with the
little jingle.
Mr. Plow. All right, let's jump into fantasy DFS, and we'll start with Sir. What do you got for your DFS lineup?
All right, here we go. So a quarterback, I'm going to go Mr. Kirk Cousins at 6,400. I like this matchup, and the last 4 weeks, even with Dalvin Cook balling, he's been putting up numbers. Like, I hope this is not a Dalvin Cook game, but I like it's a good matchup. He should be able to do his thing. At running back, give me Derrick Henry at 9,200 against the Cleveland Browns. As the time gets later in the year, the Titans just keep force feeding that brother. You saw what he did last week. He had about 3 touches in the first half, I want to say. He's been putting up the work. RB2, give me David Montgomery, 5,500 against the Detroit Lions. I have been picking on Detroit's defense against running backs all season, and with no Tyreek Cohen, like they've been giving him out of the backfield, throwing him little dump passes. Like he's been putting up numbers. Wide receiver 1 to pair with Kirk Cousins. Give me, as you guys say, his could be rookie of the year, Justin Jefferson. Last week he balled out with no Thielen because of COVID. Thielen's supposed to come back, but I still see Jefferson continue what he's been doing. Wide receiver 2, give me Michael Pittman Jr., 4,900 against the Houston Texans. He's been the most targeted receiver on this Colts offense, and the matchup is a pretty solid one. Wide receiver 3, give me your boy, Denzel Mims, 4,100 against the Raiders. Listen, somebody's like, no matter the quarterback, Flacco, Darnold, Mims has been doing work. And I like this matchup because them goddamn Raiders. At tight end, Nick, what have you been saying against your Eagles? They cannot cover the tight end.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dallas Goedert.
No, sir. Give me Robert Tonyan, 3,700. You said they can't cover tight ends? Aaron Rodgers is a bad boy. At the flex, welcome back, Mr. Austin Eckler, 7,100. His first game back, he had 16 targets and 11 receptions. That's pretty much like you're getting a receiver number and running back numbers in the same spot. At 7,100, I like it. And defense, I said, goddamn Raiders, give me the Jets defense at 2,100. The second cheapest defense on the board. Why? Because goddamn the Raiders cost me money. You know what I'm saying?
That's a stout lineup, man. That's a good lineup. I'm going Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for obvious reasons. At 6,800. He throws multi-touchdowns every time he faces Philadelphia. I can't think of a time where he didn't. Always seems to beat up the Eagles. I'm pairing him with not only Tonyan, but I'm pairing him with Devontae Adams, who also absolutely abuses the Eagles every time he plays them. Remember last year he would have went for 1,000,000 yards, but he had a hamstring injury that he took him out towards the end of the game. And honestly, I think that's the only reason why the Eagles were able to beat them last year in Green Bay is because Devontae Adams got hurt late in the game. He's at 9,000. Tonyan obviously is at 3,700. My 2 wide receivers, I'll go a little homerish, although Green Bay's run defense is just about one of the worst. And even though the Eagles haven't been leaning on Miles Sanders, and it hit an all-time low yesterday at 50% of the snaps, or at least 50% of the runs, give me Miles Sanders at 6,700. And if he doesn't get it going in this game, forget it. Don't play him anymore because it's just a lost cause. I'll take my boy, T to the train, Latavius Murray. It seems like Kamara is, and everybody calls him that, by the way.
Ain't nobody call him that, bro.
Everyone calls him that. Latavius Murray at 5,900, and I'm taking him because, honestly, it just is a different offense with Sean Payton using Taysom Hill, and we know we're going to get him for another week, and Kamara's a lost cause. Any goal line runs are with
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. So why not use Murray to be an actual feature back? I mean, he was a feature back before. I do think when and if Drew Brees comes back, it'll go back to Kamara, and I'm hoping it happens by next week come fantasy playoff time. But give me Latavius Murray, a.k.a. the Tay Train, at 5,900. Wide receivers, I'll try it with Brandon Cooks. The highest over-under of any game so far at 55 points. I'll take Brandon Cooks at 5,600. They're going to be throwing. They're going to be scoring. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think everybody would agree on that. So I'll take Brandon Cooks as the number one de facto wide receiver. And then give me mishaps Nelson Aguilar, wide receiver for Las Vegas against the football Jets at 5,200. He's been catching a lot of passes. I mean, honestly, he's been playing well for them. I never really thought it was that bad. I mean, he had a bad year last year, but everybody seems to continue to drop Carson Wentz passes. So I don't even necessarily know if I would blame him anymore. He was pretty important in the Super Bowl run for the Eagles in 2017/18. So give me mishaps Nelson Aguilar as my third wide receiver. As my flex, I'm going to take Ito Smith. And honestly, if I'm banking on the fact that Gurley's missing another game, and I had Brian Hill on a bunch of teams. I even started him on two, and he was just nothing. It looks like they like Ito Smith. He fits their offense a little bit better, catches passes, runs well. I'll take Ito Smith in my flex at 4,700. And going with the narrative of cheap defenses, I'm going to take the Giants defense at 2,200. Bradbury has played exceptionally well at cornerback. I could see him working DK Metcalf. I'm not going to say he's going to shut him down. Obviously, that'll open up to Lockett. But based on the fact that the Philadelphia defense held them to 20 points in their stadium, I do think the Giants defense is a little better. I'm not looking for, much, but at 2,200, I think the Giants defense is good enough to keep that game close. I honestly think if it wasn't for Daniel Jones not playing, I would pick them outright to beat Seattle. I think they're well within their capabilities of beating Seattle, and that kills me to say that, but I try to be impartial when we're doing this kind of stuff. And obviously, being an Eagles fan, I think the Giants are the better team.
So, sir, apparently I'm up $1 on you because a couple of weeks we did Burrow versus Winston. Would you care to win the dollar back? The Jets defense puts up more points than the Giants defense does.
What was the bet with Burrow-Winston? What was that bet?
I said that Burrow would have more fantasy points that week than Winston did. I mean, Winston
didn't play. Winston didn't play. That's not fair.
You still called the bet. You still called the bet.
What's this new bet you want to do?
The Jets defense puts up more DK points than the Giants defense does this week.
Okay, I'll do that. But the bet is that if I lose, I will do another shot of Hennessy, and I will give you $1. But if I win, you will give me $1, and you will sing "Under the Sea."
First of all, I'm already up $1, so I'm like, first of all, I'll be breaking even.
It's double or nothing.
No, sir.
You know the lyrics to any Disney song?
No, I do not.
Nick, this bet also means that you have to enter your lineup into our DK thing. So just make sure we got to do that first before you make any of these side bets.
Okay, I'll do it.
I created the league already, so it is up. It's up there.
I saw it. I was driving home and I saw Sir Bombs created a league.
Get ready, sir. Yeah, you could print the lyrics out.
I'm already up $1, so I'm either winning $2 or I'm breaking even.
Yeah. Do you know the lyrics to Hakuna Matata?
No worries.
You got a friend in me. Bare necessities.
Bippity boppity. I am not singing no Disney song, oh boy.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Well, we tried to get you to drop bars the other week, sir, and you said no. You said you would, and then you backed out.
Because I proceeded to lose like the next 4 weeks after.
Speaking of losing, my quarterback for daily fantasy, I got Mr. Derek Carr against my Jets because, well, the Jets suck. 5,800. I paired him with Mr. Darren Waller, $6,100 at the tight end spot. Running backs, I got Mr. Dalvin Cook, 9,500 against Jacksonville. There's not much to say. Jacksonville stinks against the run, and Dalvin Cook
stinks against everything. But
well, I was semi-tempted to go Cousins at QB, so now I'm really glad I didn't because we have some other picks that are the same, sir. So running back 2, I'm going to go Cam Akers, 4,500 versus Arizona. He seems to be getting the second half and goal line touches for the Rams, and he clearly looks like the best running back. I just think that sooner rather than later they're going to turn to him full-time when they realize that they need to just stick with one guy and let that guy cook. Hopefully it's this week. Who knows? Wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson, 6,900 against Jacksonville, sir. Wide receiver 2, Denzel Mims, 4,100 against Las Vegas, sir. Wide receiver 3, I went with Kiki Kuti, 3,500 against Indy. Someone's going to have to make up for them targets and yards and touchdowns, and he is the cheapest option, and it fit my team perfect because with the flex, I went Mr. Austin Eckler, 7,100. The only thing that scares me with that pick is that Bill Belichick likes to take away the best option on the other team, and clearly it's him because when he's playing, that's all that they seem to do.
Cousin Keenan Allen. I mean,
don't get me wrong; they have other options to go to, but Eckler is the star of that offense when he's playing. Clearly, you don't target somebody 16 times as a running back without wanting to force feed him the ball. But at 7,100, I still think he'll get the touches to get the points there. And defense, I went with the Detroit Lions, 2,500. Money Mitch, sure, throw me a couple picks, fumble the ball once, and then throw 2 second-half touchdowns to make it look like you're a good quarterback. So that's my squad.
That's a pretty good team. All right, we will go through our parlay picks now, but before we do, we'll do our, instead of best bets real quick, we'll do our favorite Christmas songs to make fun of Scott for doing his Christmas countdown. So, sir, why is your favorite Christmas song Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis?
my favorite Christmas song is the mute button. No. Turn that thing off. Ain't nobody got time for Christmas music.
So not a big fan of Magic 98.3.
Sir is the grinchiest Grinch in the world.
There's something called the mute button or the power button. Turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Bah humbug.
Can we just get
I just can't wait to be king. All right, let's go through the parlay picks. I'll go first. So we've seen Bill O'Brien fired, and we've seen the Houston Texans play competitively after the fact. You've already mentioned the Atlanta Falcons play after getting rid of their coach. We've seen multiple teams get rid of coaches and continue to excel a little bit higher, at least get some kind of a bump. And although we won't see that with the Jets because they seem to not want to get rid of Gase until the end of the year, Matt Patricia was fired from the Detroit Lions. And Chicago is just an absolutely awful team right now. I mean, I don't know how Nagy still has a job. I mean, he's got to be fired at the end of the year. He's so bad. But I'm going to take Detroit +3. I think –
You bet against Money Mitch?
If Galladay – what a heel turn by me. If Galladay is able to come back and Swift, who is out with a concussion, does look like he is going to come back, I think they can hold close to Chicago, who's not a great team at all. So I'll take Detroit +3. New England's my second team, and they're an odd team, man, because they've lost to Seattle, they've lost to some teams, but then they turn around and they beat Baltimore and they beat Arizona. New England's getting one point in this game against the Chargers. Anytime Bill Belichick gets any points whatsoever, it's hard for me to not pick them. I have so much trust in him as a coach. to game plan, and he's already doing the Belichickian things that he likes to do where he signals out one player. I don't know if you guys saw what he had to say about Keenan Allen, but absolutely put Keenan Allen at top of the list. I think he even said outright best wide receiver in the game. You know they're going to game plan to stop him. Could be an Austin Eckler game. I think, sir, you picked him in your DFS. Certainly possible to be the case, but Bill Belichick will do his best to shut down Keenan Allen. But I do like them at getting 1 point in this game. And then my final pick, and I hate to do it, but give me the – no, I'm just kidding. I'm taking Green Bay minus 9. There's a lot of factors in play. I mean, at the end of the day, the Eagles' offense is just horrible, and Carson Wentz can't move the ball. I mean, we've seen some plays. I don't know if you guys follow. I know CeeLo mentioned it last week, but Baldy's breakdowns. They were breaking down the Dallas Goedert, play where all he had to do was throw it into the open grass, but obviously he didn't and bounced it off Bobby Wagner's head. But you had Fulgham open, you had their other wide receiver, open, and you had Dallas Goedert open. If you just threw it further, he just can't throw the ball. And mixing in this Jordan Love thing Jalen Hurts thing is just absolutely a stupid idea. I can't see them scoring a lot of points. And honestly, I think Green Bay would have scored a lot more last year when they played if Devontae Adams didn't get hurt. I'm banking on the fact that he's not going to get hurt in this game. I think they're just going to absolutely pummel Philadelphia, who, like I mentioned last week, I don't know if they can win another game this year. But I'm going to take Green Bay. So give me Detroit +3, New England +1, and Green Bay laying 9 at home against the Eagles. That's my parlay picks. And if you want to pick one other thing, Devontae Adams will 100% score a touchdown. I don't know if it's necessarily the first, but he will absolutely score a touchdown in this game. What do you got, sir?
All right. I'm going to go with the Dolphins, -11. The Bengals without Herbert look like trash. As you mentioned, they score special teams touchdowns. You can't bank on that every week. So, Tua, it's magic, whatever. Give me the Dolphins -11. Just to follow it up, let me get the Vikings -9.5 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's terrible. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Awful. The only bright spot on Jacksonville has been James Robinson. That's about it. So give me the Vikings -9.5. And to follow it up, on Sunday night, give me the Chiefs -14. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Golden Boys. So it's a lot of offense. Tough to stop. And Denver, well, they'll have better quarterback play, but not by much. So give me the Chiefs -14.
Okay. Tim, what do you got?
All right. I took 2 overs as my first two legs. Over 54, Cleveland, Tennessee. Over 51, Houston and Indy. Both of those, between those 4 teams, they score a lot of points. I'll bet on them each putting up 30 points and each one of those games going over 60. And to finish it out, I am never going to pick the Jets, ever. And I will take Las Vegas -7.5. The Jets can't score more than fucking 3 points. Even if they score 10, I still think Vegas is going to cover easily. I don't know what Jets team you guys have been watching, but the one I have is just certified trash. So I'll keep picking against the Jets unless they're 14, 17-point underdogs.
I mentioned before as a reason for picking the Houston game as the highest over-under, but you're right. It's the Cleveland game as the highest over-under, I believe, right now out of all the games played. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to touch on, or are we good to wrap up?
We good.
All right. Well, without further ado, sir, we'll be singing How Far I Go from Moana. So, sir, take it away.
Not a chance in hell, my man.
What about You're Welcome? That's the Rock song.
What I know that one, sir.
You're welcome.
Come on, sir. Tune in.
To quote a famous inspiration, Vince McMahon, no chance, because that would.
Anybody that does the Big Time Challenge this week If pick your 3 games and pick the Disney song you want Sir to sing. If
no chance, hell, sir, no chance.
Oh,
Come on, man.
You're doing it, sir.
No
You're
chance. No chance, oh boys. No chance.
That good? Is that what you said? Okay.
Have you ever?
No
have you ever-
hashtag no chance.
Have you ever been to Disney World? We're going to set up a GoFundMe, send Sir to Disney World, and that will be at – no, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, guys.
Real quick.
We tried to do a shorter show because last week ran long. This one seems to clock in at just about an hour. So thanks again, as always, guys, for tuning in to the Week 13 edition of Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets. Our show will be out Wednesday on YouTube. It'll be out Thursday on iTunes. Hopefully we'll win you guys some money. Shout out to Ed and his mediocre Nick Dick. What was it called, Tim?
Well, it's not Big Dick Nick. It was mediocre Dick Nick.
Yeah, well, so I won Ed some money. So you're welcome, Ed. And you're right. The next time we're all together, you're buying. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all as always. And we'll see you soon.